Nature positive, Matt. The Prime Minister, I want to make this nice and clear. Over the weekend, people were pretending that this thing's been torn up and disappeared. No, it still exists. They'll reintroduce it to the Parliament if they'd want to. Theoretically, they could get a double dissolution out of it if they really wanted to keep voting against it. And just in case anyone doubts, the Prime Minister, yesterday, not in the Parliament, not quietly, yesterday on taxpayer television, he committed the government to the policy of nature positive.
Okay, there is a draft agreement, though, and a letter to you that says draft agreement on the top and spells out what that...
no, there's not, David.
What that... Well, I've seen the
a draft letter from who?
A draft agreement from Tanya Plibersek to the Greens laying out the amendments.
Well, there's no draft agreement to me.
Just to be clear, you're saying you weren't aware that the Minister had written a draft agreement letter to the Greens laying out...
Well, we were negotiating through a series of legislation. 45 pieces of legislation went through.
Now, Matt, we talked about it before. Give us an idea what this legislation is, because you and plenty of others can campaign on it at the next election. It has not been torn up. It is still their first principle. It is still their intention to make it law. What is it?
Well, it's effectively putting the foxes in charge of the chicken coop there, Paul. What this will do will put activist bureaucrats in charge of every project in this country. And so we just saw a small window into that when the current Minister of Environment, who seems to be doing a good job imitating an activist, stopped a $1 billion gold mine for because of concerns about a mythical bee. It's not even they're not even impact on a real bee. It's an impact on a story about a bee. I mean, this is what's going to happen if we let those bureaucrats providing that advice actually make the final decisions, and that's what this bill would do. Now, what's clear here to me is the Prime Minister has pulled a bunch of this stuff, not because he doesn't believe in it anymore, but because he wants to keep his powder dry. He wants to keep his powder dry for a minority government. Correct. It's almost inevitable if Labor is to stay in power. And the positions the Labor Party has right now aren't just their policies, they're just the starting point of negotiations. And what the Greens will do to form minority government is take them even further to the left and more radical and more destructive for our economy. And that is going to be what's the real choice before the Australian people at this election. If you vote for the Labor Party, you're going to get a whole lot of scary green policies from behind a curtain that Labor's hiding right now that they'll pull back after the election to offer to the Greens to stay in government. But you won't know what they are. You won't exactly know what the details are if you vote for the Labor Party this time.